26.2 miles, and the electric heartbeat of a global running stage. The 2025 TCS New York City Marathon just wrapped with two storylines that define endurance sport. A razor-thin men's finish decided by a photo, and a women's race rewritten by a record-breaking run. On the men's side, Benson Kipruto of Kenya captured victory by a split second over compatriot Alexander Mutiso. On the women's side, Kenya's Hellen Obiri delivered a stunning masterclass, breaking the course record with time at 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 51 seconds, the fastest ever on these streets. The morning began in crisp, cool air over the Verrazzano's Bridge. From Staten Island, tens of thousands surged forward, shoes pounding against steel and asphalt as the skyline opened in the distance. For elite runners, conditions were close to ideal, temperatures in the 50s, low humidity, gentle winds. For the average runner, it was a perfect marathon day. For professionals, it was a battlefield. In the men's race, the early miles unfolded with precision. A lead pack of East African elites ran in rhythmic formation through Brooklyn's cheering crowds. The first half was tactical, steady pacing, cautious hydration, quick glances among rivals. At mile 18, the tempo lifted. By the time the runners crossed into Manhattan, the pretenders were gone, and only a handful remained. Kipruto, already a major marathon champion, looked composed. Mutiso shadowed him, shoulders square, conserving energy for the final assault. Then came Central Park, the crucible. Around mile 24, Kipruto surged, using the park's rolling inclines to test his rival. Mutiso answered. For nearly 2 miles, they matched stride for stride, each refusing to break. Spectators lining the barricade screamed as they approached Columbus Circle. Cameras zoomed in, broadcasting live to millions around the world. Two runners, two identical strides, two identical times flashing on the timing mat. 2 hours, 8 minutes, 9 seconds. The deciding factor was a high-speed finish line photo that showed Kipruto's torso just inches ahead. It was a kind of ending that marathon fans dream of and statisticians can barely quantify. For Benson Kipruto, the win wasn't just another trophy. It symbolized precision, patience, and the relentless edge of elite competition. Marathon finishes at close are almost unheard of. The distance usually favors breakaways, not sprints. But in 2025, the New York City course gave fans a finish straight out of a 100-meter dash. Analysts are already dissecting every mile split, debating whether Kipruto timed his surge perfectly or if Mutiso waited a heartbeat too long to make his move. If the men's finish delivered drama, the women's race delivered dominance. Hellen Obiri, two-time world champion on the track and Olympic medalist, came to New York with a mission. She had won here before, but this time she wanted more. The record. From the gun, she ran with controlled aggression, tucked within a lead group that included defending champion Sharon Lockheady and Mary Ngugi. Through Brooklyn, Obiri hovered near the front, breathing evenly, eyes locked forward. By mile 20, when the fatigue of the bridge climbs usually hits, she began to climb. Her stride lengthened, her splits sharpened. One by one, her competitors faded. Crossing into Central Park, Obiri looked unshakable. Crowds roared as she broke free, arms pumping with the discipline of a track veteran. When she hit the finish tape at 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 51 seconds, she didn't collapse. She smiled. The record that stood since 2003, 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 31 seconds, was gone, erased by a margin of over 2.5 minutes. New York's rolling, unpredictable terrain makes records rare, which makes Obiri's achievement all the more extraordinary. Her victory crowned a Kenyan sweep, men's and women's podiums alike. Kenya's flag flew high above the finish area, a testament to decades of endurance dominance. Analysts point to the same combination of altitude, training culture, and fierce domestic competition that continues to produce world-class athletes year after year. In the marathon world, Kenya remains the gold standard, and 2025 only reinforced that truth. For American viewers, though, there were other stories worth cheering. Joel Reichow led the U.S. men's contingent with a strong top-10 finish, while Fiona O'Keefe was a top American woman, showing resilience and tactical maturity against a stacked international field. Their performances gave U.S. fans hope that domestic programs are narrowing the gap between potential and podium. And then there were the wheelchair athletes, paragons of power and precision. Marcel Hug of Switzerland, known as the Silver Bullet, captured yet another men's wheelchair crown with a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, 16 seconds. In the women's division, American Susanna Scaroni repeated her triumph, finishing in 1 hour, 42 minutes, 10 seconds. Their performances reflected both technological evolution in racing chairs and sheer human will. Every November, this event transforms New York into the world's greatest running festival. From the pounding bass at the Start Village to the gospel choirs in Brooklyn, from families handing out orange slices in Queens to strangers shouting names on homemade signs in Harlem, the marathon is as much about spirit as it is about sport. More than 50,000 runners crossed that finish line this year, each with a story. First-timers chasing personal dreams, charity runners raising millions, seasoned veterans fighting the clock one more time. For television producers and sports journalists, two visual moments dominated post-race coverage. First, that slow-motion replay of Kipruto and Mutiso hurtling toward the finish, their faces carved with exhaustion and determination. Second, Obiri gliding through the tape, her arms spread wide, the clock behind her flashing the new record time. Those images will replay for years in highlight reels and promotional packages. The question now is what these results mean for the future of marathon racing. Tactically, Kipruto's narrow victory may encourage more aggressive late surges in major races. The idea that New York's hilly course could still end in a sprint has coaches rethinking strategy. Meanwhile, Obiri's record reshapes expectations for what's possible on traditionally slow courses. Runners and agents will recalibrate their goals, and race organizers may even tweak pacing groups to accommodate the new frontier she's established. Financially, these wins matter. Major marathon victories bring prize money, sponsorship bonuses, and brand leverage. For Kipruto, his consistency across majors, Boston, Chicago, and now New York, makes him one of the sport's most marketable athletes. For Obiri, her versatility from track to road cements her as a global star capable of transcending running's niche audiences. Endorsement analysts already predict spikes in her brand value, especially among American fans who admire disciplined professionalism. Social media lit up within minutes of the finish. On X, hashtags like hashtag Kipruto, hashtag Obiri, and hashtag NYC Marathon 2025 trended nationwide. ESPN clips of the photo finish were viewed millions of times within hours. Influencers and fitness communities shared Obiri's pacing chart as motivation, praising her for running smart rather than chasing unsustainable early speed. Meanwhile, lifestyle sections highlighted the inclusivity of the event. Runners of all backgrounds, body types, and motivations uniting on the same streets. Kenyan media celebrated the double victory as a national triumph. Headlines declared New York belongs to Kenya, emphasizing collective pride and unity. In contrast, American outlets framed the story around spectacle, the drama, the emotion, the lessons for U.S. athletes. CBS and ABC both led with extended highlight segments, and even morning talk shows featured human interest interviews with everyday runners who shared the course with champions. For many Americans, the marathon remained symbolic, a mirror of perseverance, discipline, and diversity. That symbolism resonates beyond sports. Every November, New York becomes a global capital of endurance, and even casual viewers tune in to feel part of something bigger. The deeper significance of the 2025 race lies in its contrasts. Kipruto's win was about fractions, the tiniest measurable edge separating two extraordinary athletes. Obiri's win was about magnitude, minutes carved on a record that seemed untouchable. Together they tell a complete story of competition, one defined by inches, the other by miles. Sports psychologists have long studied why East African runners dominate endurance events. Many cite physiological advantages: high red blood cell counts from altitude living, efficient running economy, lean body composition. Others emphasize cultural factors: the daily habit of running to school, the communal training camps, the mindset of simplicity and perseverance. Whatever the blend, 2025 reaffirmed that mastery. But marathon running is cyclical. Dominance today can fade tomorrow. American and European programs are investing heavily in youth development, technology, and nutrition science. New training hubs in Colorado, Arizona, and Oregon are attracting international athletes, creating cross-pollination that could shift the competitive balance in coming years. For young American runners watching Kipruto and Obiri, the message is both daunting and inspiring. Excellence requires patience measured in years, not seasons. Technological progress also shapes modern marathons. Super shoes with carbon plates and advanced foam, data-driven pacing systems, and more sophisticated hydration strategies all contribute to faster times. Obiri's record, while a triumph of human performance, also reflects how far equipment and preparation have come since 2003. Critics debate whether technology erodes purity. Supporters argue it simply evolves the sport. Either way, the line between human endurance and engineering precision keeps moving. While elite battles grab headlines, the marathon's beating heart remains the ordinary runner. Every finisher crossing under 6 hours, every charity participant running for a cause, adds layers of meaning. Television shots of firefighters in full gear, cancer survivors wearing photos of loved ones, and high school teams running together gave American viewers the emotional anchor that statistics alone can't provide. This year's broadcast drew huge audiences nationwide. NBC's coverage peaked during the final 10 minutes of the men's race, the photo finish moment that had social media buzzing. Sports analysts compared its instant replay drama to Olympic track finals and NFL goal line reviews. The difference, of course, is scale. 26.2 miles culminating in a heartbeat of separation. Beyond the competition, the event showcased New York's resilience and unity. Security coordination involved thousands of officers, volunteers, and medical staff. City officials reported minimal incidents and a festive atmosphere. For a metropolis that thrives on energy, the marathon is a civic recharge. Restaurants along First Avenue reported record crowds. Subway platforms filled with spectators moving borough to cheer. In a country often divided by politics or economics, the marathon offered a rare collective celebration. Internationally, the performances sparked renewed debate over marathon scheduling and the World Marathon Majors points race. Because New York closes a calendar, it often acts as a tiebreaker for annual awards. Kipruto's victory could vault him into the overall title contention, depending on how organizers weigh performances across courses. Obiri's record virtually guarantees her the women's title for 2025, adding another milestone to her expanding legacy. There's also the question, what happens next? Will Kipruto chase another major early next year? Will Obiri attempt to defend or target a faster course like Berlin or London? Sports agents hint that both athletes plan to balance recovery with Olympic preparation. The 2028 Los Angeles Games are on every long-distance runner's horizon, and the road to that stage runs directly through events like this. For YouTube viewers following American sports, this race holds valuable takeaways. It demonstrates that marathons can be every bit as gripping as mainstream pro sports when the storytelling focuses on personalities, rivalries, and the visceral beauty of competition. It reminds us that endurance isn't just about distance. It's about emotional connection. In the coming weeks, expect to see feature segments exploring the photo finish technology that decided Kipruto's win. Engineers and race officials will explain how high-speed cameras capture images at thousands of frames per second to determine placement when times are identical. Expect also to see human interest specials on Obiri, her transition from track to road, her family life in Kenya, and her disciplined training regimen in Colorado. These stories keep audiences invested long after the medals are handed out. For aspiring runners across the United States, Sunday's results provide a blueprint. Kipruto's patience teaches restraint. Obiri's consistency teaches confidence. They both reinforce a simple truth, that greatness in running isn't born overnight. It's built mile by mile, day by day. American distance running is already seeing resurgence. Collegiate programs are developing more talent. Women's participation continues to soar, and the culture of recreational running fuels grassroots enthusiasm. Each NYC marathon becomes both a measuring stick and a motivation platform. As the sun set over Central Park, the finish line remained open for hours, waiting for every last participant. Volunteers handed out medals to runners who smiled, cried, limped, or danced across the line. That inclusivity is a marathon soul. The idea that on one day in one city, anyone willing to endure can share the same road as champions. Looking ahead, analysts predict next year's field will be even deeper. The record and the photo finish will lure elites hungry for redemption or glory. Expect a clash of titans again. Maybe Kipruto defending his crown, maybe Mutiso returning with unfinished business. Perhaps a North American contender daring to break Kenya's hold on the podium. For now, the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon belongs to Benson Kipruto and Hellen Obiri. Their names are etched in the event's history, one for the closest finish in years, the other for the fastest ever. Together, they reminded the world that even in an era of instant entertainment and shrinking attention spans, a 26-mile journey through the streets of New York can still hold us captive to the final step. And as broadcasters signed off, the message was clear. Sport at its best unites us through sweat, suspense, and the shared heartbeat of competition. Whether you watch from a Manhattan sidewalk, a Midwestern living room, or a phone screen halfway across the world, you witness something rare. Human limits being pushed right before your eyes. That's the magic of the marathon. Unpredictable, emotional, and endlessly inspiring. Benson Kipruto by a split second. Hellen Obiri by 2.5 minutes. Both timeless. And that's your story from New York, where dreams, discipline, and destiny met on the same road.